Funding to build the General Daniel Chappie James Jr. Memorial hitting a snag. Why the chairman of the Tourist Development Council says that funding is a no-go. Two women caught on camera taking a Pensacola homeowner's furniture right off his porch in broad daylight. Why police say they will not be facing charges in the new investigation that's now underway. Toxic ingredients are hiding in certain beauty products. How certain marketing practices are targeting one group and putting their health in danger.
WEAR News at 10 starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Now we have some severe weather heading our way this weekend. Meteorologist Marion Caldwell joins us from the Weather Center. Marion, what can we expect?
Yeah, Haley, we're expecting a pretty significant severe weather outbreak across the southeast as we head in.
We've been telling you about Saturday's event at the Destin Fort Walton Beach Fairgrounds, but due to severe weather concerns, as you just heard, we have to cancel the event. We are working with our partners, Gilmore and the Better Business Bureau, to reschedule. We'll let you know once a new date is selected. Another roadblock when it comes to funding the General Daniel Chappie James Jr. Memorial. Last month, county commissioners voted to use $750,000 tourism tax dollars to help fund the project. The chair of the Tourist Development Council, or TDC, says a memorial does not fall under the legal use for these dollars. Now, TDC Chairman David Baer wrote a letter to the Escambia County Board of Commissioners pushing back on using TDC money to fund the project. Today, we met with the chairman to learn more about those concerns. A 30-foot statue paired with a fighter jet and an American flag, all to honor General Daniel Chappie James, a Pensacola native and the first African-American four-star general.
I think it's a very important project. I would love to see the county support it.
Tourist Development Council Chair David Baer believes the tourism tax dollars should not be used to get it done. Under county ordinances and state statutes, typical uses for TDC dollars would be for enhancing public facilities or promoting tourism, among several other uses. A memorial is not listed as a use for these dollars, and Chairman Baer says the construction of a memorial will not bring more people to the area. He says once it's up and running, that is when it could support tourism. The Haas Center conducted a study on the economic impact for the statue. It showed the project would have a short-term economic impact across a one-year period.
The economic impact study just showed the only impact was to the construction industry. It was not for tourism, and that's sort of the requirement if you're going to be spending tourist development tax, that you should be developing tourism.
The study did not outline any specific impact the memorial would have on tourism. At last month's board meeting, county commissioners unanimously agreed to fund the project with TDC dollars, with the understanding that the memorial is an open-air museum. But Chairman David Baer says it's not an open-air museum. In his letter to Escambia County commissioners, Baer says, quote, "The board cannot circumvent the unambiguous terms of the act or its own ordinances merely by calling the memorial something that it isn't." Commissioner Mike Kohler says the county clerk, all of the commissioners, and several lawyers agree it can be called an open-air museum.
Everyone seemed to believe that we could get there, and the TDC doesn't believe that we can get there. I believe they have a right, though, to question the board and make us relook at it.
Baer says he does not want the county using any tourist development tax dollars for the project, saying commissioners and the foundation can turn to other sources for funding.
Or they could or they could also raise funds privately. That's what they had originally committed, was to fund this project through private donations only and not any public dollars, and since then they've raised mostly public dollars.
Commissioner Kohler says he's unsure if he will move this agenda item to the board meeting later this month or push the item until April, when county commissioners will meet with Pensacola city officials. He tells me he's in full support of the foundation's mission and is hopeful to keep the TDC dollars for the project. What started out as a case of suspected porch piracy in Pensacola has now turned out to be the result of a scam. A Pensacola homeowner posted this video of two women taking furniture off his front porch in broad daylight. He called Pensacola police and reported the incident. Now, the women in the video saw our story on social media and turned themselves into the police to explain what happened. Police say the women saw a Facebook Marketplace ad that said the furniture was free. Police determined the women were scammed. No charges are going to be filed against the women, and police returned the furniture to the owners.
It's scary to think that someone that was not related to either party would just try to instigate something for no reason. You know, whether that's because they were upset with us for some reason or upset with those ladies and wanted them to be embarrassed.
Or just get the thrills out of causing trouble.
We're all gullible. We all make mistakes. We all think of things differently sometimes than we probably should have.
Are investigating the Facebook Marketplace ad that started all of this. They say the account that posted the ad was deleted, but police are still going to try and track down the original user. A Pensacola man will spend the rest of his life in prison for a murder back in 2021. DeWitt Eccles was sentenced to life in prison after being found guilty of second-degree murder. Escambia County deputies say 33-year-old James Johnson was found dead inside his car on North Loop Road 4 years ago. Investigators say he was shot in the head twice. U.S. Marshals arrested Eccles in Mississippi a week later. Now, Carlos Holloway was also charged in the case. He's expected back in court on March 19th. A Santa Rosa County couple is charged in a child abuse case after deputies say a baby was hospitalized. Jordan Moore is charged with felony child neglect causing great bodily harm. Now, Jesse Smith is charged with felony aggravated child abuse. Investigators say the baby was taken to the hospital with several broken bones, bruises, and missing teeth. According to deputies, Moore claimed the baby suffered from brittle bone disease. The hospital did some tests and results came back negative. And after reviewing evidence in several interviews, deputies arrested Moore and Smith. Moore was released on bond, but Smith is still in county jail without bond. Both are expected back in court on March 27th. Fears over a government shutdown in Washington, D.C. easing slightly this evening. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is now changing his tune after saying yesterday that Democrats will block Republicans' stopgap spending bill. Republicans need to get at least 8 Democrats on board with the proposal by midnight tomorrow. National correspondent Kayla Gaskins has the latest details.
A massive hurdle cleared Thursday evening as Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he will vote to advance the continuing resolution. Other Democrats will likely follow, and the GOP needs 8 total to get on board by Friday.
After hours of reportedly heated closed-door meetings Thursday, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer changing his tune, saying he'll now vote to advance the GOP spending bill to avoid a shutdown. A big step towards getting the bill to President Trump's desk.
While the CR bill is very bad, the potential for a shutdown has consequences for America that are much, much worse.
The bill needs 60 votes to pass, but the majority, GOP, only holds 53 seats. With Republican Rand Paul opposed to the bill, at least 8 Democrats will have to vote for this bill for it to pass.
I'm not supporting the CR because it continues the Biden level of spending. It will lead to a $2 trillion deficit, and I think we need to cut spending.
For Democrats, it's now a game of will they or won't they put the country through the chaos of a shutdown.
I think Chuck is shrewd enough to understand that the Democrats will get buy-in.
Even while Schumer threatened to allow a shutdown, some in his caucus publicly remained on the fence.
It's basically a dirty deal. I'm not ready to talk yet on what direction we want to go in.
Others voicing their opposition.
I will vote no on that continuing resolution. I will vote no on cloture.
And Democrat John Fetterman says he's voting with the GOP on this one.
Now, it's a CR that we all agree we don't like, and we don't co-sign on all of those elements. But for me, it's about we can't ever allow the government to shut down.
For days, Republican leaders have said they're convinced when it comes time to vote, Democrats would cave, pass the resolution, and avoid a shutdown. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Toxic chemicals are being found in certain beauty products in the group that faces a higher risk of using them.
Download the WEAR News app now, sponsored by Forrest Jordan and Associates.
First Morning Weather, sponsored by Pensacola State College.
Hazardous chemicals are lurking in personal care products, the very things designed to make you feel good. A new report says products marketed toward Black women conceal some of the most dangerous ingredients. Lisa Fletcher reports.
What you see is a routine salon service to make hair soft, silky, and straight. What you don't see is anything but beautiful.
These products that are trying to push women to look different, skin lighteners, hair straighteners, tend to have the most toxic ingredients.
Dangerous chemicals found more frequently in beauty and hair products marketed to black women, even with packaging that would lead you to believe otherwise.
You can put the word natural in anything. You can have all kind of toxic ingredients and still called natural. So you're stealing my health. You're stealing my well-being.
And neither was up for grabs, says public health professor Dr. Kristen Edwards, who recently partnered with the Environmental Working Group on a new study that examined 4,000 beauty and hair products for toxic chemicals, finding things like preservatives that can cause organ damage or release cancer-causing formaldehyde, and a common fragrance ingredient tied to reproductive harm, now banned in the EU.
80% of products marketed to black women scored moderate to high hazard.
Dr. Alexa Friedman is a senior scientist at the Environmental Working Group who co-authored the report. It found that products marketed directly to black women are more likely to put their health at risk, with only 20% making it into the low-risk category. And while products for all women weren't much better, only 26% achieved low risk, the small percentage gap between the two is deceptively dangerous.
It's a 6 percentage point difference, but 6 percentage points of hundreds of thousands of products that are on our market base actually account for a large portion of products.
Products on the shelves where black women shop. A recent Harvard study found that women buying hair products in predominantly black and lower-income Boston neighborhoods were twice as likely to be offered a selection with toxic ingredients.
You see that these personal care products directly marketed to black women have more dangerous chemicals in them than products broadly marketed to women.
Yes.
Why is that?
The products are cheaper. It's easier to make a cheaper product when you put more toxic ingredients in it. They can market a lower cost product to the black users. I think that the cost is a big piece of it. And then I think it's also assuming that they don't know better.
It's why Edwards founded her company, Black and Green, in 2017, to illuminate what industry keeps in the dark. And since then, some progress has been made, including a dramatic drop in the use of hazardous preservatives called parabens, after public outcry forced many companies to stop using them. Evidence, she says, that once women know the truth, they use their dollars as a powerful tool for change.
Because once black women know, they do better. The second they know better, they do better.
For Spotlight on America, I'm Lisa Fletcher.
President Donald Trump says he made progress today with Russia in working toward a conclusion to the Russia-Ukraine war. Earlier in the day, Russian President Vladimir Putin said he supported the general idea of a U.S.-backed ceasefire with Ukraine, but he said there would have to be conditions. In an exclusive interview with Full Measure's Cheryl Atkinson, Trump said the touchy negotiations are moving forward.
What's the plan if Putin doesn't agree to a ceasefire?
Bad news for this world because so many people are dying, but I think he's going to agree. I really do. I think I know him pretty well, and I think he's going to agree.
Full interview. Watch Full Measure with Cheryl Atkinson on Sunday.
First Warning WeatherNet is sponsored by Peden Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electrical. Here is meteorologist.
Tonight, the Pensacola City Council approved the Direction 25 Pensacola Parks Revitalization List. The initiative looks to spend more than $21 million to fix parks all across the city. City Council members expressed optimism over the list, but some also expressed concerns. Councilwoman Jennifer Breyer says the Parks and Rec Board did not get a chance to thoroughly review the list. She says the board should have more time to offer input on the list before it's voted on. The mayor addressed those concerns.
The idea that we're launching into space to never come back to any of these items, over 54 parks in every community center, is false. I mean, we have plenty of time and plenty of. The reason we've got to get this going is, at some time in all of our terms, I would like to get these projects completed, and we do need to get moving on that. That does not preclude the Parks and Rec Board at any time from sharing their insight. I would think, agree or disagree, the 7 of you know me and well enough to know that if we have an issue that needs to be addressed, we will pivot and address it. That's a fact.
The City Council voted 5-2 to approve the list. Councilwoman Jennifer Breyer and Charles Baer voted against approving the list. Santa Rosa commissioners want 2 developers charged with environmental crimes to pay the county back for extra costs. Kip Walker of Gulf Breeze and Thomas Cornelison of Pace are both charged with misdemeanors in connection to separate projects in the Avalon Beach neighborhood. The Florida Department of Environmental Protection says they failed to obtain the proper permits regarding discharge of pollutants. For months, neighbors have complained about sediment running off the developers' lots and ruining the water quality in Mulet Bayou. Commissioner Kerry Smith says county crews have done extensive work trying to mitigate the damage.
This is everything that was extra cost that's come up so far. We got $34,792.73. That's just so far.
Commissioner Smith says that amount doesn't include the cost of road paving intended to help slow the runoff. The commission voted unanimously to ask that restitution be included with any sentencing in the 2 cases. And coming up next, got more for you. Northwest Florida students are gearing up for the 2025 Emerald Coast Electrathon Classic in Pensacola. The big race is in 2 weeks at Five Flags Speedway. Teams across 5 states are registered for the competition. Navarre High School's Shock and Awe Electrathon team builds and races small electric cars. Navarre has 3 cars, all assembled by the students, one of them built from scratch. The team says this year's race is all about redemption.
It's also going to be a comeback. Last year we pulled 2nd and 3rd. We lost 1st place by 1 lap, so we're going to try and redeem ourselves.
This is on March 29th, and races will run from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Chime in, sponsored by Florida Power and Light.
All right, it's time for you all to parade your plants. To share your pictures and videos, text WEAR TV to 95577 or look for the Chime In tab on our website. And we'll be right back.
For some severe storms. All those risks do include strong tornadoes, gusty winds damaging up to about 70 miles per hour, and quarter-sized hails. Just be sure you're weather aware as we head into the weekend, and we'll be here keeping you up to date on all the latest.
All right, thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Jimmy Kimmel Live is next.